mechanics of this, they talk a lot about doors. There are reservations about, not reservations, just they know the doors are going to be something we're going to be delicate with, and they're not going to be easy to remove, set aside, put back, but we got a plan for it.
And so what about the windows? Like, our windows are 10, 12 years old. So you guys are trying to replenish them?
Do what?
The windows that we have,
What did you say we're doing?
we're trying to replenish them?
To replenish?
Yes.
We're putting, I mean,
I'd like to put new windows in our place if we could. That could be a possibility.
well, I don't, not as part of the scope of work, I mean, you would have to pay a contractor to do that, because we're not, I mean, it's not like they're pulling the windows out and putting the same ones back in. The windows just simply aren't being addressed, I mean, really just not being addressed. All we're trying to do is give them a little bit of a fighting chance. But I think it would be up to an owner if they wanted to, I mean, at least, I don't know what your regulations say, but typically that's an owner's, call if they want to do that.
Typically, yes. That's correct.
So then why would you suggest that they were, what, I don't.
Well, there's a lot of new technology in windows, so I really.
Well, I'm just saying, it's up to you though, that you're.
Yeah, like, can we do it? Yes or no?
Are you asking me for
Yes.
permission?
Yes.
I can't give that to you. I think you can place your windows if you want to.
Your point is that if we're going to be working on the window, we'd rather take the opportunity to install a new window. So the problem is that I respect that on an individual basis. That would be most advantageous to international that into a broader scope, because there may be 50% of the owners that might want to do that. I think that's the problem. It is the right time logistically to do it if you were going to do it. But I do believe you contemplated the scope and they reasoned that based on cost, they weren't able to introduce that. And two, as you said, they're all they're part of the ownership, so it's not something within the company's associations purview to take care of it.
So who your company's gonna get our key?
We're going to come to this gentleman and we're going to give him a rundown on the unit access points 48 hours in advance. He's going to email everybody so that you have a electronic notice, and then we're going to physically stick something on the door, because some of you rent these facilities or places, maybe the tenant doesn't get the notice and they'll have it on their door. Then we will get keys, access from Josh, and we will go to the units under his control, and we will turn them back in at the end of the day.
So,
The workers are you going to be allowed anywhere in the units, or
No.
is it just restricted?
No.
I mean, like, I have a pet, so you said we're gonna have to break the animals and things
Yeah,
like
you
that.
put it
If
in
I
the
look
bedroom.
for your bathroom,
Yeah, the bathroom would be fine, yeah. Our guys would get in, access the door opening, and then if there is that point where we need to open the windows and treat the windows. So there'll be two entries in that regard. One to change the door, and I can't promise it'll occur on the same day. So when we have to get into the bedrooms to open the windows and treat them, sealed, there's a sealing application at the sill or the base of the window. We're going to need the windows to be open to stay open for a while so that the sealing can cure. So two entries, and in both cases, I think you'll be able to move the animal around, but we'll have strict instructions. Don't go anywhere else. They may have an animal in there, they put it in the bathroom, whatever. Our guys are pretty good about getting in, doing what they have to, and getting out, and then we return the keys. Accordingly, do that nice little note so you know we're done. It's important for you to know we've been in and out, and that way you're not concerned about us coming in the next day.
and the last thing I want to bring up is, what if we find something more that's wrong with the patios? We haven't addressed that tonight yet.
Okay, yeah, there is. Go ahead.
What if we find something more than what's wrong with the
Yeah.
patios? Well, that's a great question. We know there's more than what's wrong with the patios, right? We know that. And so, what you guys have elected to do is spend the money I think that you've gotten addressing the most significant current concerns. So there are definitely other, and I know you know well, there's other problems with the building walls. There's decay in some of the building walls. There's window leaks, there's other issues. And so the balconies are a life safety issue. I mean, you saw what was over there. I mean, they're in very poor condition. And so the scope that we've been charged with is to address the life safety issue that is the balconies. Now, what we do have in the contract is unit pricing for stucco and framing repairs to the extent that, you know, like in the past where some people have had very significant water damage over their window, we've replaced a full height of stucco in those areas. So we have pricing from these guys to, if you guys want them to do that, then we have it in place so that that can be triggered and that can be done. And in fact, you probably know, I mean, we originally did the whole, to remove all the stucco from everywhere, and it just, the money's not there. So what we're doing, I think, or your association is doing what's prudent with the funds available. And so I think that will come up, I anticipate it will, and so we'll cross those bridges as we're requested to do so.
Keith, I know you can't answer this, but maybe a board member can say, what money is going to be left from our settlement, since we're only addressing partials? Because I know in our building, our hallway, when it rains, the hallway's soaked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we have penetration down the wall.
Oh, okay,
And
I'll address the second part of your question. I don't know how to answer the first part, but I think that it seems like what would be a good idea is, I didn't know that that was even an issue for you. So maybe if you report that, and maybe you already have, but if the board wants us to get involved, I mean, certainly I'm happy to help try to diagnose the issue and come up with a repair while we have these guys on the site, and then that would just be added as a change order. But we have a contingency, and I don't want to tell these guys what it is, but we have a contingency to address, I mean, other issues. Obviously, this project is intended to hopefully address water intrusion issues. Do you want to answer the first part?
I also wanted you guys to go into, you know, the paint, the breezeway floors. You guys have added that into the scope, correct? For the elevations.
And he talked about, yeah, so the breezeway floors will be basically painted. I mean, it'll be a waterproofing type paint, and sealants will be all added, and that hopefully will address like a lot of the type of issues that we're having up here where the water's coming into the
Well,
glass.
that's not going to include the walls, I mean, where the walls and the floors meet, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what Michelle was kind of referring to, is water going down over.
Oh, is yours coming in from the corridors?
no, it's in our hall.
Is it coming in from the roof or the corridor?
Probably the roof.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, yes, we will be somewhere. So
Both sides of the
literally,
building.
Well,
it's on the third floor and the second floor. When it rains, there's a huge puddle in the hallway, and the whole wall is wet.
as it relates to the lower floors, those will get those will get waterproofing on the floors, and it will be sealed to the walls. If it's a roof issue,
What's behind that wall, we don't know.
yeah, I mean, we don't know unless you want us to get into it. But as it relates, this project doesn't include like the fascia. We're not doing any fascia. We're not doing any roof repairs. I mean, their task right now is only to do the balconies and then some other tangential items that we're aware of. But that's the large scale task. So.
Nothing at the bottom of the stairs, too, because that's the number that is.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, we didn't talk about that. You're talking about like what's called the finial, those are all gonna be redone. Yes, those will be redone, because we know those are decayed in multiple spots. So those are gonna be done, some of where the garage, where the walls terminate over a garage and it's set out, we know there's decay there, that's gonna be, those are gonna be addressed. But any wide scale stucco replacement is not currently slated. I think there's some questions back there. Go ahead.
So I live on this side of Building 9, facing like Eagle area or whatever. I probably have to potentially relocate the people that are renting my condo during this situation. I know you keep saying that we'll be in and out, but my brother lives there, he works nights, so he's sleeping during the day. So this is really gonna affect that situation, so I'm gonna have to relocate them. How long are you working on that? How long are you going to be in? Like, is it like a day to fix whatever you're saying, taking the doors off? I mean,
Yeah, I think you
this
need
is going to
to,
be like a huge cost to me.
when you're
personally.
thinking about somebody who is not gonna be tolerant of noise during the day, it is gonna be a period of months that there is gonna be noise tangential to that
Yeah.
unit. So I would say on your unit, it's not just the in and out of the unit. That's gonna be at least twice, probably more, because they're gonna have to go back and the finish isn't gonna be just right, and they're gonna have to seal. You know, there's gonna be in and out of that unit for a week's time, probably. And then, in addition to that, I mean, I mean, were you here when the east wall of Building 9 was
I've
done?
been here since '08, unfortunately.
So you know, I mean, so you probably had some experience in, I mean, they're ripping boards out, they're jackhammering concrete, so that's gonna be happening on your stack for 30 days, the next stack for 30 days, the next
Sure,
stack.
so they're probably going to have to move it out, is the.
If they have to sleep during the day, I would say probably so.
That is just, so when are you starting, so I can make plans to do whatever I need to do?
That's what we don't have that schedule firmed up, but what we need to do and what we will do is once we know that, you know, we've got to get everything figured out on building one, that's our scapegoat, okay? Once we know that, then you will get a look ahead and we'll make sure to let you know, when we're going to progress. We have a tentative schedule right now, but I want to hold off on telling you a specific date. I want to tell you right now, it's going to be November 15th, because that's going to be wrong. But it's going to be, it's probably going to be sometime, I would guess, and you correct me if I'm wrong, November, December of this year. Right.
Go ahead.
Since I am a renter here, and I would prefer to be home when you have the men or people enter the apartment. I'm in building 9 as well.
Okay.
Like, is it gonna be all day, or is it like a period of a couple hours that you're needing to actually in my unit?
Correct. It shouldn't be all day. It should be, though, we're going to give you 48 hours notice of one day. We're going to be in there on Wednesday, November 15th. We'll let you know 48